This is a continuation of exercise 9-3 set B, and in this case we have the same data. The only couple of items that they changed, in this case we assume that bad debt expense expected to be 10% of accounts receivable. Well, that just answered a couple of my questions. First one, as I said, you always have to figure out what kind of method of or to account for accounts receivable are you using. Since we do have the allowance accounts, we're using the allowance method. And question 2, what's your base to estimate the allowance? And it is percentage of accounts receivable. Okay, as I mentioned in my earlier videos, receivables go with allowance. Both accounts are on balance sheet. Therefore, you have to start with the allowance for doubtful account. That's my leader account. That's why I made it bold like that. So if I want my allowance to be 10% of accounts receivable, right here, your adjusted balance. Might have to clean this out a little bit. Why did I put it, by the way, on the credit side? How did I know? Well, I want it to be a normal balance. Allowance normal balance will be credit. And what will be the calculation? 10% of $180,000 worth of receivables will be $18,000. So I want my adjusted balance to be $18,000. And by the way, that's the answer to this question. The adjusted balance in the allowance for doubtful accounts should be or must be, and we twisted it, or that's its arm to be $18,000. However, if you look right now in the ledger, we only have $4,300 in there. So we need to change the account going from $4,300 on the credit side to $18,000 on the same credit side. So we need to add an extra weight on the credit side for $13,700. That's the amount that will be credited to the allowance account, and the corresponding debit is gonna end up in the bad debt expense account for $13,700. Again, up here, if you like to write it in the journal format, $13,700. And that's your answer for this. Journalize the adjusted journal entry. Here's your debit, and here's your credit. That's the debit. Forgot to underline it. That's it. You're done.